If you observe a child who's emotionally healthy, you notice that children are excited every day about something. And there are adults who are excited on a regular basis about various things in their life. But there are some people for whom, at some point in their life, an experience or a person has caused their flame to go out. And if you were to ask them how they felt, they wouldn't say that they felt sad, but they just live an emotionally restricted life all the time. Is that your story? Are you living an emotionally restricted life because you feel that happiness and excitement are not your personality? Can I tell you something? Being excited about life, being happy, being positive, these are not personality traits. They're just human emotions, and they're not meant for other people. If you're not experiencing a predominantly positive mood most of the time, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, am I feeling disappointed, unsuccessful, or grieving a loss in my life? Am I feeling disappointed, unsuccessful, or grieving a loss in my life? Sometimes we go along in neutral gear, neither happy nor sad, because of a low-level feeling of dissatisfaction about our life and/or disappointment in ourselves. Where did you think you would be at this point in your life? What did you expect that you would have achieved by this point in your life? How does that compare to who you are and what you're doing right now? How big is that divide between where you thought you would be and where you are? Is it possible that this could be affecting your baseline mood? This is a type of loss. It's a loss that we don't often realize or describe as a loss, but that doesn't change the fact that we grieve it and it can affect our baseline satisfaction in life. Along with this question, I want to say a quick word about rejection. Sometimes our feelings of disappointment and loss are related to having experienced rejection at some point in our life, especially early in life. Rejection, whether from a person or from a job you wanted to have, can cause us to feel unsuccessful at baseline. It can lead to that slow fade feeling I spoke about earlier that drains us of energy. So when you ask yourself this question, am I feeling disappointed, unsuccessful, or grieving a loss in my life? Also ask, am I feeling rejected by anyone or any system right now? Number 2, if you're not experiencing a predominantly positive mood most of the time, ask yourself, have I had people in my life or life experiences that taught me to restrict my emotional expression? Have I had people in my life or life experiences that taught me to restrict my emotional expression? This is an important question, but it might be difficult for you to realize the history of why your emotional expression might be restricted. It may have been restricted for so long that you may not realize where it came from. As a child psychiatrist, I've learned that living a life of restricted emotional expression can start quite early. One example is this. Children are naturally bubbling over with emotions. They express excitement, they express anxiety, they cry loudly. When children express these emotions, they get a range of responses from adults. Some adults allow them to express their emotions and gently teach them how to regulate those emotions. Other adults shame them for their emotions. If you had a childhood where you were shamed for your emotional expression or consistently told to rein your emotions in and make yourself smaller and smaller, you may have learned to live a life of restricted emotional expression. Here's another example of where restricted emotional expression can come from. You may have experienced a lot of disappointing things in your life, even traumatic things. Experiencing massive disappointments can sometimes cause your flame to go out. Just when you start to hope again, something comes along to slap that hope right out of your hands. So you learn to restrict your expectations, to restrict your excitement, and to keep your emotions in a neutral place. It's a self-preservation response. Are you a person who tends to not really express excitement or joy? What is your explanation for why that is? Number 3, if you're not experiencing a predominantly positive mood most of the time, ask yourself the question, am I holding back? Am I holding back? Is there something that I should be doing that would shift me out of neutral and into first gear in my life? Am I holding myself back? Sometimes due to fear or intimidation, we hold ourselves back. This can steal our joy because it puts us in a place where we don't want to be and we feel stuck there. We can even start to resent ourselves for it. Is it time for you to take action? Stagnation can actually keep us in a neutral or negative place instead of in a positive space.